started here.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to MuleSoft Meetup Group. Thank you all for taking out your time and joining today's session. Yeah. So today, we are going to take a deep dive to explore the newly launched product of MuleSoft, that is RPA. So here we have our speaker Vikas Sharma, who is going to make this learning very easy through his demonstration. So, for your information, the session will be recorded for your future reference, and you can check out the content through our Rules of Meetup page or through our YouTube channel. So, the session is meant for learning purpose. So, feel free to ask question, unmuting yourself, or you can also put your question to the chat box. Before we start, let me introduce you all to the organizer of Meetup, this Mysore Meetup group. So here we have Shubham Chaurasia. He is currently working with Bilinium as a integration developer. So he is a meetup leader, speaker, and he's MuleSoft ambassador as well. And then we have Giridhar. He is currently working with Hashdin as a technology architect. He is also a meetup leader and ambassador of MuleSoft. And here I am Priya Shah. I'm currently working with LTI Mindtree as a senior software specialist. And I'm also a MuleSoft mentor, speaker, and meetup leader of this particular group. So before we start, thank you, Vikash, for joining this session and presenting this session to our meetup group. So let's know Vikash through his words, and then we can start with the agenda of today's topic.
Yep, thank you, Priya and Shubham, for providing this opportunity to speak at this meetup. Okay, so yep, here I am. So my name is Vikas, and I am working as a senior consultant at Infosys. Okay, overall I have 12 plus years of experience in the integration domain. Okay, covering wide suite of integration products like IBM Sterling B2B Integrator, TIPCO, and MuleSoft. Okay, so currently I'm working on MuleSoft as a technical architect. Okay, and I'm MuleSoft a certified integration architect as well. Okay. So yep, let me just share my screen and then we can get started with the today's session. I hope my screen is visible.
Yeah, Vikas.
Okay, cool. So in today's session, we will be covering about we'll be knowing about the RPA. So RPA is like as a buzzword in today's, like if you can everywhere in the LinkedIn or maybe you will be seeing the like MuleSoft has launched new RPA products. So you'll be seeing this RPA word everywhere. Okay, so we'll be just learning about what is RPA and why do we go for RPA, what is the business benefits of RPA. Okay, and why like MuleSoft has launched RPA, what are the components of MuleSoft RPA and what is its life cycle, how do we design the processes in RPA, how do we build them, how do we deploy them, and then we'll have a live demonstration of a use case as well. Okay, so feel free to ask questions guys to make the session interactive. Okay, so RPA, so it consists of three-letter word. It's robotic process automation. Okay, so robotic. What is robotic? So robotic is the entity which has the capability to mimic the human actions. Okay, process is a sequence of steps that lead to a meaningful activity or task, which is known as process, and automation. Okay, which means that the task will happens automatically without any human intervention. Okay, so basically with the help of robotic process automation, what are the like we can mimic the task which are performed by humans. Okay, suppose I'm entering any data into a form. Okay, and through some graphical user interface, so that thing can be replicated, mimicked through this process, robotic process automation, RPA. Okay, here the main stress, okay, is on the keyword process. Okay, here we are automating a process basically, and that process can be like anything which is standard process is some company like there's some invoice processing. Okay, so an invoice processing step, or something, some recruitment step, which are kind of standard processes in the company. Those can be automated by RPA. Okay, which are like more or less will remain the same. okay, and there are no variances on those processes. So those are the processes which can be automated via this robotic process automation. Okay, so here are the which of the processes, which of the work that can be automated by RPA. So which is a high volume work, okay, which is a repetitive, labor intensive, rule based, and low variance. Okay, suppose a person is getting some emails, okay, on daily basis, okay, which is having some invoice related data. Okay, so person, like suppose he gets 100 of emails in a day, he opens each and every email, okay, and note down what is the data in all those emails, or download attachments on those emails, note down what is the data, and then he feeds that data um, into some accounting software. Okay, so it's kind of high volume, like he gets hundreds or thousands of emails on daily basis. He has to go through each and every email and then note down the data, and then it feed into some other system. So it's kind of monotonous stuff, repetitive. Okay, daily basis he just going and downloading the email attachments, noting the work, and okay, so these are high volume repetitive work. Labor intensive, obviously labor is involved, like more persons. If we one person is reading 100 emails, like other person can also be put with him to share his workload. So it's a labor intensive work as well, and it's a rule based work. Okay, so rule based means like, okay, the person opens the email, opens the attachment of that email, okay, note down the data from that attachment, like the invoice number or the date, and then feed that data into a accounting software. It's a rule based, so nothing is decision based, only rule based is there. Okay, so the person is only following the required steps which are already like they are in place from past several years, and just going on to follow those steps again and again on daily basis. Low variance. Okay, so the process should be like, the work should be of low variance. We should not expect many changes in that work basically. Okay, it's only low variance work. Okay, no major changes, the process should be stable. Okay, so these are the five key parameters, okay, in which if high volume, repetitive, labor intensive, rule based, and low variance work, so those works are like good contenders for those to be automated via RPA. Okay, so benefits of RPA. So what are the benefits that we get out of automating our work? Okay, first one is obviously cost effective. Okay, and then more accuracy is there, because like through the RPA or the software boards are more accurate. That humans are like prone to errors, but the machines perform the work accurately and efficiently. And better, obviously, once the work is accurate, and it will result in better quality as well. 24 by 7 availability, right? So machines or the bots don't need any rest. They are available like around the clock to perform the work. It improves the morale of the employees also. Okay, so employees like also know, so they are free of now performing the monotonous or the repetitive work on daily basis. They can leverage their time like in doing some productive task. Okay, and which will improve their morale as well. Improved scalability. Okay, suppose like with the help of the RPA we have come up with the software boards, and they are we have automated one of the department in a company. So similar on the similar lines, we can automate the same, we can utilize the same bot, we can duplicate that bot to automate some other department of the same company, so it can be scaled up. Okay, then there is better security also. Better security mechanisms are there in performing the work. And then there is definitely edge in the competition. Okay, so the companies who are utilizing the RPA or having the software boards, and definitely they will be having an edge of the other competitors who are still relying on the humans to perform the repetitive work. Then lastly, there is a better customer experience as well, right? So the task which a customer assigns gets performed in a better and efficient way and a faster way, definitely results in the better customer experience as well. Okay, so here is a MuleSoft RPA. Okay, so automate anything and everywhere, like that is what MuleSoft is saying with the launch of RPA. Okay, so here what MuleSoft we can do, like whatever humans can do with the perform the task via the graphical user interface, same things can be automated using the MuleSoft RPA. Data processing can be there, and then in the steps where feel that okay human intervention is required, those steps are also like can be feed in the in this MuleSoft RPA. Okay, so there are two different, like I can show you while performing a demo. So like wherever the task can be automated, we can use a bot task, and then whichever which will need a human intervention, we have a human perform task as well. And then there's a low code automation, so business users can automate can use that. This requires like very less coding. Okay, and it provides or out of the box components. So MuleSoft RPA has a toolbox, okay, which is like having a lot of out of the box components like email reading is there, capturing the clicks, okay, and a PDF reading. So all those out of the box components are provided in the toolbox. And then this RPA is like better suited for the persons who are knowing about the process SMEs. Who are the process SMEs? So person should have clarity on the process. Okay, so what is the process that needs to be automated? Okay, so it's better suited for those process SMEs. And then the MuleSoft RPA provides the capability of invoking the any processes via APIs as well. So that I will show you in the demo. So here are the four key components of MuleSoft RPA. So first one is RPA Manager. So RPA Manager is a cloud-based control plane, okay, for automations that is integrated into any one platform. Okay, so by the use of RPA Manager, we can manage the user accounts and permissions. We can design that RPA processes. We can test and deploy them. Okay, and I'll show you while demonstration how do we use the RPA Manager here. Then RPA Builder. So RPA Builder is like on-premise application. Okay, it is not on the cloud. So MuleSoft provides a package which you can install in your system. Okay, and then whatever you have designed in the RPA Manager, you can download it in the through the repository. And so with the help of RPA Builder, you can build your logics. Okay, and we can run the local test as well. Then there is RPA Recorder. RPA Recorder is again is on-premises tool. Okay, we can which is used during the build phase. Okay, and so during the design phase. Okay, we can take the screenshot for each. It will just have to design our processes basically. Okay, and then RPA Bot. So RPA Bot are software robots that again run in the on-premise environment. Okay, so RPA bots are connected to the RPA Manager. So RPA bots are the like actually work doing machines. Okay, so they are installed on the machine and they perform this actual automation work. Then this is a MuleSoft RPA life cycle. So the first and foremost step in this MuleSoft RPA cycle is to evaluate. Okay, so we in the evaluate stage we will be calculating okay how much like return on investment. If I'm investing some efforts in automating some tasks, how much return I will get? Will it be beneficial to me? Is it worth to automate that process? Okay, so that is the evaluate stage. Okay, we evaluate okay based on certain parameters. Okay, whether this work is like what I'm going to automate, it will bring some worth to me or not, whether it will become bring some investment to me or return on the investment that I'm making, whether it's so those things like it's evaluated. So it's the evaluate phase. We evaluate whether it's worth to automate a work or not. The second thing is the design. So if once we have evaluated okay we are going ahead with the with the work which we are trying to automate, then we design it. Okay, uh, using the BPM, so business process modeling notation we use to design that work. Okay, and here we make use of the RPA Manager, and we can make a use of the RPA Recorder as well. Then there is a build phase. So once we have designed, okay, then we build the logics. Okay, so for the bots to perform here. Okay, so that is build phase is taken care by RPA Builder, and once the build phase is complete, we upload the project or that we have whatever we have developed in RPA Builder to the RPA Manager. Then we have the test phase. Okay, so once the build is completed, then we test it via deploying the bot into the RPA bot, okay, and which is connected to the RPA Manager. Then once the bot is tested, then we promote into production environment, and then the last step is obviously to operate, which is like monitor and manage the bots. Okay, So in today's session, how we will be going through the evaluate phase, design phase, and build phase. Okay. Okay. So here is the use case for today's demo. Okay, so what is going on? Like a company, ABC company is like is getting some invoices from some other company like XYZ company. Okay, and the job of the employee in the ABC company is to like open the emails on daily basis. Okay, and download the invoices that have come from that XYZ company, read the invoice related data like the invoice number and the dates, and prepare a SQL query based on that data, and then use that query to insert the data which he has read from the invoice into a database. Okay, so we'll see how do we automate this process with the help of MuleSoft RPA. Any question, guys, before we move to the demo part? Okay, I don't think we have any questions. So let's move to the demo part then. So here is MuleSoft RPA Manager. Okay, so as I told, like RPA Manager is a cloud-based application, so no need to install on your system. You just use this URL, okay, and you just use this RPA Manager here. Okay, so first and foremost thing, we'll go to the evaluate phase. As I told you, process evaluation. Okay, so left hand side, just click on this process evaluation. Okay, we'll just before starting the evaluation, you can create some evaluation criteria also. Okay, like here. Okay, which will be having the certain parameters like what is output quality, complexity, risk, what is the nature of work we are going to automate, what kind of stability, is it a high variance work or low variance work of all those criteria can be put it over here. Then there is evaluation templates as well. Okay, so we'll just go to this process evaluation. Okay, click on create. So I'm automating in invoice feed. Okay, I'll just use the default template which is there, and I'll just choose one category also, like category 1. Okay, I'll just press OK. So how much this process is costing me as of today, that I have to fill in this information. Suppose the person is taking 30 minutes on daily basis to read the emails and download and all those stuff he is doing manually to read the emails and then inserting the data into database. Okay, and if I'm billing that person $20 an hour, so I'll just put $10 for 30 minutes. You can see per month he's doing on daily basis. Let's put like he's doing it 22 days in a month. Okay. Now qualifiers. This is evaluation criteria basically. What is this kind of work? It's a judgment based work or a rule based work. So RPA is best suited for automating the rule based work. So it's a rule based work, right? The person knows what are the steps he needs to perform. I'll just bring this over here, rule based. What is the input output? What is unstructured analog or structured digital? It's a structured, right? So he knows like the what kind of PDF data will be there. He just goes there and read it. So I just put it here as well. Stability. What is the kind of like it is a the work is stable or like it's having some variance. Okay, so it's like more or less more stable. The same set of activities is repeating every time. What is the data type? Image interpretation, text or numbers. So he's reading the numbers from the attachments. So just bring it here. Okay. Benefits. Urgent need for improvement, no issues. So yep, it is like we can keep it in the middle. Okay, it's not quite urgent, but it's good to have thing. Complexity, I'll just put it to the medium. Risk are like obviously risks are there because if the person makes some manual error, right? So and it can result into wrong data getting fed into the database. So you see that based on the qualifiers and benefits I have selected over here, this dot has moved into the green zone. Okay, so it means that it's worth to make to automate this. Okay, so the it's going to amber to green. So red, if it is come in the red zone, like it's like it won't be having any much, you won't be getting much benefits of automating this process. But if it moves it into the green zone, it means that okay, you will get substantial benefits of automating your work. Okay, just go ahead and save it. Here it is, automating the noise feed. Next step is to approve it. So once it's approved and select managers only, like my name will be there because we are sharing this space with the other MuleSoft community members. So I just put in my name over here and press OK. Okay. Now I go to my RPA, my backlog. So here you see, here it has come, automating invoice feed, approved, and I'll start the automation. Okay. What are the required applications for this process? You can just select like Google Chrome, process team. Okay, so since I don't have any team members here, only I will be performing all the steps over here. So I'll just select on the advanced permissions. I'll be doing design, release to build, release to test, production. So yep, that's it. Save it. Okay, it is created. Now we move to the design phase. The evaluate phase is completed. So here we are. So using the BPMN, business process modeling and notation, we will be designing the process over here. Okay. So in the first step, what we will do, we will go to the email, okay, enter the email credentials and search for today's email which are unread, okay, and download the attachments. So the first step, this is already, so here in the left side you will see that uh, different components have been provided for this. So this is a start button, start, and then this is the end. Okay, so here is the user task. The if there are some user tasks involved over here, that we can have it here. And this is the automatic create bot task, the task which will be performed via bots. Okay, so here is the first, so we will log into the email. Okay, email login and download the attachments, download the PDF, download the invoices, I would say. Okay, and then next step, uh, next step would be to like move those invoices to some central location from where we can read their data. Okay, so move the invoices to some central location. Okay, and then once some invoices are moved to a central location, we'll just extract the relevant data. Extract the relevant data, and then in the end we'll make a API call to insert data into database. Into, okay, and then we just put it over here. Stop. Just connect these. Okay, one more thing we can put it over here. Some like decision based work also we can put, like if the person, if when we log in into the email, okay, and we don't find any invoice for today, we don't need to do all these steps, right? So we can just go to the end. So we can just put that as well here. Okay, so that is what we call exclusive gateway. Okay, so now, sorry, I'll just provide the sequence name, the sequence one, sequence two, and just 1 second. This is sequence one. Okay, if we get the attachments, we'll follow the sequence one path. If we don't get the attachments, then we'll just move to the end. That's it. Okay. So now our design phase is complete. Now we will move to the build phase. Any question, guys, before we move to the build phase? I'll publish this. Okay, release to build. Okay, okay, it's there now. So I'll just go here. So RPA Builder I have already installed on my system. That's why we call this on-premise application. It's not cloud-based. I'll go to View, Show Repository. I'll just refresh it. You see, automating invoice feed has come over here. Yep. So whatever we've designed in RPA Manager, now we have been able to get it over here in the RPA Builder. Okay. So now the most important thing to note over here is the toolbox. So this provides all the out of the box components which we can use to in our build phase. Okay, so we have app automation, we have checks, we have control, we can capture the keystrokes, mouse actions, document processing, we can connect with AWS. Okay, that I will show you how. And then we can perform some Excel operations, read from Excel, write to Excel, file operations, move the files, copy the files, delete the files. Then there are mail operations, read emails. Okay, connecting to via REST APIs, okay, text recognition, optical code reading, variable handling, all this stuff is out there for us to use and automate our processes. The first part is the email login and download the invoice. So here it is this is like individual boxes are called as the workflows. Okay, for this workflow, this is the first step is the initialization. So where we have our activity parameters defined. Activity parameters are nothing but the global variables, okay, which will be available across all the workflows. Okay, and then the activity workflow is consisting of the transactions are nothing but the logical group of some, like if some operations. Okay, so if we want some operations to be put into some single unit, we can put them into this transaction box. Okay. Then this finalization, whether the workflow has succeeded or failed. Okay, so now what we will do, our we will just, for reading the email, we create a mail session basically. Okay, so what do we have in mail session? Mail session, we have this encryption, use protocol, server address, port, username, and password. So we'll be reading the emails from inbox, okay, and service address, port, and user account. It's the best practice. We should keep it either in the workflow based variable or in the activity parameters. Okay, so I'll just show you over here. We'll just create those parameters so that we can use them instead of hard coding them. Okay, I'll just alphanumeric variable. I'll just put here server. Okay, server value is this. Either we have the port is 993. Okay, and then new parameter which will be having the user account details. Okay, I can use email. Okay, what is the username? This is the password. Now I have the activity parameters. I have to include these. I just email create spot and server. I included them. Save it. Okay. IAMP encryption will be SSL. TLS server address is already we have using this pin. We can browse to our activity parameters server. Okay. Then there is port, user account. We have the email credits. Okay. Only read the emails from the inbox. Press OK. Save. And then once we have the read email session established, we'll be going to read it. Okay, so inbox folder name is like, okay, it's fine, I can just provide a name else. Okay, inbox folder name is like default is inbox, that's fine. Filter inbox according to the following criteria. Since we will be running this process on daily basis, we will be filtering only on the unread emails for the particular day. Okay, so only filter on the unread emails. We can at one time we can read at least, we can put like 10 emails. I want to save the attachments. Okay, where do I want to see save the attachments? Or I just put this path over here. But again, the best practice, make sure you just put it into workflow based variable or activity parameters. Create directive does not exist. We can check this, press it. Okay. Okay. Now, there are two options to test it, or either we can test it individually using this button, or we can use this complete flow can also be tested via this execute button. Okay, run the process. So what I can do, I can just show you how do we just, for now, we can just test this out, whether it's working fine, whether the emails are getting read and the attachments are getting downloaded. So I have my email box opened. These are the two mails which are unread, which are having the attachments for the invoices. Okay, so let's see if I am able to run it properly. Okay, with the help of this run workflow. Okay, so yep, let's see. So those emails should be coming up over here. Attachments. Okay, it's have come. See, it has come, and if I can see in the steps which are performed, okay, all the emails were read. So I think there were 300 emails. One email was not having any attachment, so the ones which were having attachments, those have been downloaded, you see. Okay, so now this is the data for this email. Okay, payment date and receipt number, that the two content will focus on to extract and feed into our database. Okay. Okay, so what is the next step is now if I don't find any email with the attachment, okay, which is not having attachment, right, or there is no unread email for a day, I don't want to proceed to the next steps. Okay, I would just want to exit or stop. So what I will do, I'll just create one more activity parameter. Okay, which will be saying that email count, integer variable. Okay, will be saying that email count. Okay, and here I will include that. Okay, so that I can see it in the workflow. Okay, so there is a set variable you can use here. Okay, so now what is the variable that we want to set is activity parameters email count. Okay, and Output of this read emails is a mail count. So we can have this mail count. So mail count will be having how many emails were unread for that day. So when do we want that sequence 1 to proceed? When we have unread emails more than 0. And when do we have sequence 2 to proceed? When we have the unread emails is equal to 0. So I'll just put that expression over here. I'll just make use of the build expression. Okay, I'll just put not here. Okay, email count. So it's not equal to 0. Okay. Okay, so you see condition expression is generated. When email count is not equal to 0, we proceed to sequence 1, else we proceed to sequence 2 if the email count is 0. Not equal to 0 and equal to 0. Press OK. You see that cross mark has also gone. So now as the next step, we have to move this attachments to some central location, okay, from where we can read their relevant data. So what I will do over here, we have in the toolbox, uh, we have something called iterate. Okay, iterate over files. So I'll just put it over here in the transaction. Okay, and under iterate I'll just make use of this move file. Okay, iterate over files. What is the directory where I need to iterate? So this is the directory where our attachments are there. Okay, I'll just put it over here. RPA emails, file name is start or start, it's fine. Recursive loop, yes, so that we can fetch that attachments under subfolders as well. Okay, move the files. So where do we want those files to be moved? So directory path is from the iterate over path. Okay, file name again from this iterate file name, and destination directory, where do we want to put that? I can just create one more directory, and here is the directory where I want to put it. Okay, we can decide to overwrite the existing files as well. If some files are already present with the same name, we can overwrite those. Okay, press OK. Okay, so we'll run this individual workflow and see if the files which we have downloaded, those are getting moved to the attachments folder. Okay, so I'll just click on this run workflow. Yep, so you see over here this attachments folder is now having those the two invoice files now. So these mails are not having anything now, not having those attachments. Those have been moved under the attachments folder. Okay, so now what is the next step? Next step is to extract the data what we need to feed it into our database. Okay, to extract the data from the PDF, we will make use of the AWS extract service. Okay, so AWS, okay, it's a ERP docs with AWS that we have provided over here. Okay, so it will make use of the extract service to extract the data from the PDF. So for this, we'll need an account with the AWS that I have already created. Okay, under the users, you need to create and for these two users, you will need to create those access keys, and this key and secret value you will need to put it into the RPA builder basically. Okay, so these are the users I am created. These are the two access keys that I created basically. Okay, username and password. This is the key and the secret I will use in the RP builder to connect to my AWS account, so that the extract service can be used to extract the data from the PDF. Okay, so what I will do, I'll again go to this activity parameters. So you see over here something AWS credentials. Okay, I'll just put that name as AWS creds. A client ID, I already copied that basically. This is my client ID. Okay, then this is my secret, region I can just put like US East one. Okay, AWS region basically. I just say it. Okay. Okay. So now AWS credentials. Okay, I need to get those activity parameters inside this workflow. Okay, press OK, and then just click it over here and AWS credentials activity parameters. Here is the AWS creds. Okay, fine. So where is the directory path where we need to read the files? Okay, so directory path. Okay, so directory path will be here only, RPA attachments. Okay, and file name again I can just put it star dot star. Okay, wait. Okay, I think I missed one step. So basically, before we read the files, okay, we have to iterate over all the files, right? So that because there are multiple files in this location, we have to iterate over those. Okay, and I'll put this ERP docs under the iterate. So iterate, these are the files. This is a folder that I'll be iterating over. Okay, yep. So here it is, and file names will find star dot star. And now in the ERP docs, I can just put the path which I got from iterate over files, iterate path, and then the file name also from here itself. Okay, so that because we have multiple files in that, so we have to put it into iterate over files here. Okay, so AWS credentials should be this AWS creds. Okay, so what ERP docs will do, it will provide me a normalized JSON format file. From there, I will extract the invoice ID and the date. Now, how will the output of this ERP docs with AWS extract service will look like? To show you that, what I can do, I can just write this output to a text file. Okay, so I'll just create one file just for showing you how will the output looks like. Can just so I can just create one file like only demo was output dot text file. Okay, and text to write will be this normalized JSON. Okay, add a new line after file. Okay, okay, fine. We can create a file if I'm not created file, so I can tick mark this option like create the file if it does not exist. Press OK. Okay, let's start it. Here it is. You see, this is how the output of this AWS extract service would look like. So we are interested in fetching the values for this invoice receipt ID, okay, and the invoice receipt date. Okay, so now I'll just remove this text, right to file. Okay, I'll just remove it. Okay, and what I will do, I'll just use a JSON query to extract these values, okay, and store them into some variables. Okay, so what will the JSON query do? It will act on this normalized JSON that we have got, and we have to write a JSON query or JSON path expression here to fetch this value. Okay, so to fetch this invoice receipt ID, this is the JSON query we will use. So you see over here, invoice receipt ID, and we're interested to get its value. Okay, so I'll just write this JSON query over here. Summary fields type is equal to invoice receipt ID dot value. Receipt ID its value. Okay, I'll just press OK, and I'll just store this value into a variable. Just use one variable. Okay, and just put this like invoice ID. Okay, and it will have the value of the previous JSON query, the first item. Press OK, and we are interested to know the date as well. So I'll just make use of one more JSON query here. Okay, the same JSON object will be used, normalized JSON, and the expression that we will be using here now will be to get the invoice receipt date. You see over here, invoice receipt date. So type is invoice receipt date and value is this. Okay, so here we are. Okay, and we'll just get one more variable so that we can store this value as well. Okay, I'll just see that date invoice value, so it will be JSON query first item only. Okay, so now we got the value. Now what we need to do, we have to build the format with our REST API is expecting to insert the data into the database. Okay, so we have the
Uh,
yes.
Vikas, sorry to interrupt here. So, if suppose like we are not getting the values, then like in the variable we have declared right here, two to three variable. So, if suppose in the JSON we are not getting the data, so in that case, what it will happen? Like it will get failed, right?
Yep, it will get failed. Yep, you have to like first see what. That's why, like what I'm saying to you, now that is why you have to first analyze what your normalized JSON look like. Okay, and then based
Okay,
on that, you have to build your JSON query. Okay, so based on that,
okay,
that is what I'm saying. Now, this process needs to be stable. Okay, little variance or no variance should
okay.
be there. Only those things can be automated, right? All these things having data, no data, like you can handle those. But yes, ideally, yes, this is process should be stable. The invoice is always expected to have this data. Okay,
Oh, okay.
those are the only things we can automate, right? The monotonous, repetitive work.
No,
Okay.
like some cases, like in error scenarios, I'm saying, like suppose somebody has sent instead of invoice, they send shipment. And obviously in shipment there will be no data like invoice date, what we are expecting to be
That's
there, right?
correct. So we have this, like if you see over here, now like we have the standard error handling also. So when we deploy your bot, it will error out. Okay. But again,
Okay.
that's what I'm reiterating. The process needs to be very stable before you automate it. Okay. There should be
Oh, okay.
minimal room for errors basically. Okay. So
Oh,
that's where, okay, like it's a standard process and process should be well established and stable. That is one of the qualifiers, right? If you see in the evaluate phase, there is one of the qualifiers, right, which mention that how
yeah.
stable is the process. Okay.
Okay. Or, or,
Otherwise,
or can't
yep.
yeah, because can't we do one thing like you have put it one condition of a first step, right? Like
Yep.
after login to the email, so can't we do one more step there, like just to check like whether it's a valid invoice or not? If suppose
Yes,
it's there, then only we'll go for next step. We can do, right?
we can do that, but again, na, that will again adding more overhead basically, right? We can do that, not an issue. But the only thing is that before automating, you have to make sure that your process is stable. Okay.
Oh,
Yes,
got
we
it.
can do that. Like options are there to do that. Okay, you can put some checks if there. That's fine. Okay. But again, like if again you have some doubts that data will be correct or not correct, then it won't be an ideal contender, right? To
Yeah, correct.
that, right? So stability
Yeah.
is one of the qualifiers. Na? The process should be stable with minimal or no variance.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yep.
Got it. Yeah. Thanks. Thank you, Vikas.
Yep. No worries, man. Okay. So we have captured both the values over here. So yeah. Okay, we are almost at time. Well, just take 10 more minutes. Okay, and I'll complete it. Okay. Uh, so this is the format that we are expecting in our API order, then order name, order details over the ID of the value of the order and then order date. So how do we build this format? Okay, we have something which we call as combined strings. Okay, so how do we combine the strings? So this is the format that I would be using here. Order value, and then order date, orders value. Okay, from where the values will come, I'll just click on this pin here. One will be replaced by the invoice ID, two will be replaced by the invoice date. Okay, press OK and click inside. This is the pattern. So order, then one will be replaced by the invoice ID and two will be replaced by the invoice date. So this is how we can uh, have our the format for our REST API to be ready. We are combining it and it's still going into iterations. Okay, so now this is done. So then what we can do that, because in the we were combining the strings, then we have to write the output somewhere, right? If we write it into some variable, the variable can hold only one value at a time. It will override if we have multiple files. Okay, so to overcome that, I thought to have some write to file. Okay, we can just have one file in which we will have in the combined output what we got in the combined strings returned to this text file. Okay, so I'll just create one file. I just provide this path. Okay, and file name I can say that, okay, the raw payload txt. What I mean to what I want to write is the output of the combined strings. Okay, add a new line and create a file if it does not exist. So I have used file over here because I want the all the cumulative output of all the files basically. Okay, so this part is done. Okay, so now we can just put this text file or whatever we have got and values we have got, the cumulative values we have got in the text file into a variable, and that variable then we can make an API call we can use that variable as an input to the next workflow and make the API call to insert the data into our database. Okay, so I'll just use one variable. You can just use one set variable. Since we will be using it across multiple workflows, you have to declare it as in the activity parameters. Activity parameters for numeric. Okay, input to API. Okay, it's okay. Okay, it should be coming outside of the iterate files because the all the output is accumulated into that write to text file. So it will be outside it. What is the value which we want to? I just one second. We have to include it in the activity parameters of the workflow input to API. Okay, okay. Then I'll just go inside it variable activity parameters. What is the new value? Value will be of the, yep. Another thing, important thing I want to mention, you cannot just have the new value set to the write to text. You can okay, what you can do, like, okay, you have written the text into a text file and then you are just assigning that value to a variable. That is not possible. First you have to read the file, only then you can write it into a variable. Okay, I've tried this option and didn't work, so I have to first read the file basically and then write its contents to a variable. So I'll just do a read file. Okay, read from the text file. Okay, and then I'll just, what do I want to read? I want to read what I have written in the above steps. This is a file name, sorry, the directory path, sorry, directory path, and the file name will be this. Okay, read the entire file. Okay, okay, fine. And now you can set up this variable. Okay, one more thing. Okay, when I generated and combined the strings, okay, and so this will be the format. So this is whenever I will be accumulating all the data for all the PDFs, there will be an extra comma at the end of the output, at the end of this when the last file gets processed. So it will look like this. Okay, so like this. So I need to this X moves extra comma so that it's ready to be used by the API. So for that, I'll just use one string operation. Okay. So in the string operations, okay, I can just remove the last vector. What is the input string? Input string will be what I have read from the file, read text, and I'll just remove the last comma. That's it. Okay. And in the set variable, I'll just go to the input to API, and the variable will be the string operation result. Okay. Okay, fine. So we are good over here. Now I'll just move to the API call. Okay, the API call, since we'll be using that same variable which was that input to API, I'll just move it over here. Okay, and in the transaction, I'll just put the REST API. Okay, and the REST API, I go over here. The method is post, and I have already hosted that API into Cloud Hub. So this is the URL for that. I'll just copy it over here. I'll just put the base URL here and URL extension here. Okay, that's okay. And I'll be using that variable. So A will be replaced by that input to payload. Okay, I'll just go inside it. This is a request body I want to send. I'll be sending that A. So which I have assigned to that input to payload variable. Okay, press OK. So now after the call is made, and then we have to remove the temporary file that we created in the previous step, and also move the attachments to some archive folder because those are still sitting in the attachments folder. Okay, so what I will do, I'll just again iterate over files. Okay, and just move it inside that transaction, or we can keep it outside as well. It's fine. Okay, I iterate over files, and then we just move the files whatever were there. What's happening? Move file. Just 1 second. Okay, I iterate over files. So the need to provide the directory. File name is only star.star is fine, and we have to move them to an archive folder, which is this. Okay. Move the file. Okay, from where we need to get the file path here, file name also from here, and this is the destination directory. Okay, where we need to move the files. So those will file be moved here now. And then the last, I want to delete the temporary file that I had created. So I'll just put a delete option here. Okay, and delete. I'll just get the name of that file from here. Okay, so here is the name. So raw payload.txt. Okay. Best practice, make sure that those are these all the file name directory path are there in the either workflow based variable or in the activity parameters. Okay, so yep, so I think we should be good now. Let me check my database also. Let me just to start this process, okay? This complete workflow. Before that, I'll just make sure that the attachments are removed. Okay, demo I can remove. Okay, there is nothing in the mails also. Drive is empty, and I'll just unread those two files. Okay, the two files which were there. Yeah, here are those. Okay, I'll just select start from my orders table. Wait. In the meantime, let me just run it. Please shut the door, huh? Please shut the door. Okay, email is successful. Now it's moving the invoices. Okay, it's also done. Extract relevant data. Okay, raw payload is here. Okay, it's also success. Now we're in the last step, make API call. Okay, it's also succeeded. I'll just close it. Okay, so everything got succeeded. I'll just refresh. Let's start from operations. Just one second, guys. Structure the output. I'll just run it. Okay, now you see over here the two records from the two PDFs that we got, order number, order date, both are entered over here in the database. Okay, so all these things which a person was manually doing, we have automated via this our RPA. Okay, the build is complete now. Now what next? Next is like any question, guys, before we move forward?
Because these things we can achieve through any one platform also, right? We have schedulers and other things that can trigger the flow and retrieve those details from mail and then send it across, right? So why do we exactly need this?
See, I'm not sure like whether we can extract the data from PDF via any one platform. So that is one thing. Okay, uh, logging into email, downloading the attachments. So that thing also I have not explored it, but that is readily available over here. So you have to do a lot of like research and coding over there, right? But these things are readily available at your fingertips. So apart from that, like other things like capturing the keystrokes, right? Inputting the data into a web forms. So all those things like are available like easily and on your fingertips over in this RPA. So those things and apart from that, you can interact with systems that don't have any API interfaces. Those things can you can also do by RPA.
And suppose like we, are code developers or architects from the MuleSoft side. So for whom these tool is more relevant, because we don't
This
know
tool is more
something.
relevant to the process SMEs, okay,
Mm-hmm.
which are like more which is more process centric. Okay, here you are not automating any project or automating any backend service. Okay, you're not writing any script to automate certain task. You're automating a process. It's more suitable for the process SMEs, not core developers, but the process SMEs with the more they have more knowledge about the processes which they can automate basically.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
this tool is basically for those guys.
Okay.
So thank you. So next step is to like upload this project uh, into RPA manager so that we can move into next stage, which is test stage. So this is version one. So as of today, so Muse RPA like it is not having any integration with the external version management or the pipeline tool. Okay, so we have to just check in the changes and into RPA manager, and we can then download it again to the RPA builder. Okay, and make the changes and then check in our changes with our whatever description of changes what we have made. We can write those and check in this again. So this is project was successfully uploaded. So if I go again back to the RPA manager in the my processes, okay, so we have that an automated invoice field. Okay, so this is done, and then the next stage is to publish to test stage. Okay, so testing will be like based on this bot. So we need to install the bot and then connect it with the RPA manager so that it can be tested. So means here we locally tested it, but the actual testing will be via the bot. So here with that, when we have to create a test plan and attach the bot to the RPA manager. Okay. So for installing the bot, you can use so like I am also planning to use an EC2 instance. Okay, and so I can set up the bot over there because if I install it over in this machine, it won't work. Okay, it has to be dedicated instance where we need to install the bot. So we can do it over the Amazon EC2 instance, and then we can run this process over there. Okay, so I'll try to cover that bot thing also maybe in the next session or maybe in my next video. Okay, so yep, so that's pretty much, guys, I wanted to cover in this session. Hope you found it useful.
Because some one question since we are developing a process, right? So like in any one platform, we have vehicles and workers types, right? Here, what do we have? Like how much memory does a process require? So do we have those configurations here?
So MuleSoft provides a specific set of configurations, okay, before installing the RPA Builder or RPA bot. So I think yep. So those configurations you need to adhere to before you do the installation. But I don't think
Okay.
more than that one worker size and all those stuff. I don't think they have provided. But yes, they have provided the set of configuration like you need to have minimum 16 GB of RAM and all those things. So those things are there, and while when you set that up, you have those provided.
Okay. And here also, like, since you're connecting to databases, and so do we need to do all those setups like VPN or something like that?
Sorry, I missed your question. Can you please come again?
Like here also, you are connecting to database or some, data centers which could be, confined inside, secured places. So do we need to set up those VPNs and all those things here also, or
Yep,
what's?
yep. You say here I connected via API. Okay, so you can deploy your APIs anywhere and just call them over here. That's it. It's like not going to your actual database to do that insertion, right? It's just like you have a API build. Okay, the API is then exposed, and then you're just calling that API. So it is not going to actually interact with the database. It will be just invoking the API, and then API will in turn would insert the data into database.
Okay. If you have a database, then for that we have to set up VPN.
If we have a database or a week, yeah, so see, the thing is that if you have the on-premises database, right, and your API is deployed on cloud hub, right, then definitely VPN will be needed, right? And if your database like my PHP admin is on cloud itself, so no need of VPN. It's just like you can from the cloud hub the API can track insert data into this database. But if your database is in on-premises or data center, and then definitely from interacting from cloud hub to on-premises, you would need a VPN, because without VPN, no connectivity is possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And do we have a trial account for this wherein like we can go ahead and try these stuffs?
Rahul, so the
Or
thing is that you are a member of the MuleSoft community, as a mentor or the meetup leader for those guys, they have provided this access. But yes, you can reach
okay.
out to the MuleSoft community like Isabella and Sabrina. Okay, so if they can help you. But for now,
Okay.
yep, they just asked like whoever wants to use this RPA trial for some time. So I nominated myself and I got the access because I'm a meetup leader and a mentor over there. So I got this access and then I prepared this demo basically. But yes,
Okay. Okay.
you can reach out to them and see if they can provide the access to you.
Okay. And what is the costing for this tool?
That I'm not aware. That I think you need to get in touch with your account manager, who has like MuleSoft account manager for your project basically or for your company. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Vikas.
Thank you. Thank you, Rahul. Uh, any other questions, guys?
Do we have any other questions? If not, then we can stop the recording and close the session.